Oh hey guys, I haven't seen you in ages. It's me, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Alright, time to take this thing off. How have you guys been? I've been great. Alright, so there's really no explanation as to why I'm so late in doing this video. I did promise it a long time ago, and I'm only now getting to it. There's a lot of reasons for that, which I'll get into later. But really no time to diddle daddle, so let's just get on with the gameplay. So the gameplay for Marvel's Spider-Man 2 was in a lot of ways very similar to the first game and even Miles Morales, because you can play as both Peter and Miles in this game, as everyone knows by now. There are obviously newer things you can do, like glide as well, which honestly feels like flying.
Thank you.
That wasn't flying, that was falling with style.
One other new addition to the gameplay that I thoroughly enjoyed was Peter's arms on the back. And it was in the first game, but it wasn't a part of the story. Like, you could use them, but you really couldn't use them in the same way that you can here. And also when Peter Parker gets the symbiote, a lot of his powers then mimic what the symbiote can do, obviously. And those are the most fun parts of the game, simply because when you get to be Black Suit Spider-Man, you get to bring vengeance and wrath to the city that shunned you, the city that hated you so goddamn much. There are also side missions in this game which you can play as Peter and Miles, but I must say I liked Miles' side stories a lot more. There was a great side mission that included him, his mum, his friends trying to save an art gallery for cultural music. And although there was much bigger stuff going on in New York City at that time, that to me had more heart really than any of the other side missions. And can I just say, thank God they didn't include that annoying, try not to swear here, but you know who I'm talking about. What's her name? I'm just gonna Google annoying Spider-Man villain. Her name's Screwball. I forgot her name for a reason. Thank God they didn't include any side missions involving her. They listened. Also, Harry Osborn is back. And you kind of get to see like the foreshadowing for Agent Venom. If you read the comic books, you can kind of see that come into play here at the beginning. Obviously, I'm not explaining this in the most chronological order, because that actually happens before Peter gets the suit. So in terms of the gameplay, if I were to summarize that side of this whole video, it would be that there was a lot of stuff that was improved and I had very little issues with it. And considering that I did have like a lot of complaints about the first game and the follow-up DLC and even the Miles Morales game, I had some complaints around the gameplay with those three games. But with this one, I really had no complaints. They ironed out all the problems and made it a pretty much, for me, a perfect gameplay experience. Alright, so moving on to the story. So as previously mentioned, to the surprise of Peter Parker and Mary Jane, Harry Osborn returns. There was a lot of setup about this in the very first game and some hints about it in Spider-Man Miles Morales. And it was this story aspect plus obviously Kraven the Hunter being in this game. Those were the two big things that got me really excited about this game and the story for it. Now, I did also know, based on that teaser that came out many years ago, that Venom was going to be in this game. And I'm just going to be completely honest, when I saw that Venom was going to be in the game, I was excited, but I wasn't as excited for that part of it as I was Kraven the Hunter or seeing Harry Osborn back. Now, seeing Harry interact with MJ and Peter after so many years had passed was really a sight to see, in that you really feel like these three people have grown up together. Especially that time when you go to Coney Island with the three of them and you can go on all these different rides in gameplay as well, which was fun. So it really did feel like there was a history there. It was written well, the voice acting for it was done exceptionally well. Seeing Peter and Harry work on projects together was really heartwarming. And then when it comes to Kraven the Hunter and setting him up as this game's big bad, I was thoroughly invested in that. There's something about Kraven, and let me just say, I haven't been exposed to that much Kraven the Hunter material. Like, I haven't read any of the comics, I haven't seen him in any of the movies, obviously. So really, this is my first full introduction to Kraven the Hunter as a character and as a villain. And I was invested from the first scene. There's just something about his primal instinct and everything about his background and his origin story just is really investing to me. It's something different that we haven't seen in any of the Spider-Man movies, shows, or anything like that. Which is why when I saw that Venom was in this, I was, again, as I said, I was excited, but I just wasn't as excited as I was for Kraven the Hunter, because Kraven the Hunter is something new. Not a lot of people who are fans of Spider-Man, like myself, have been exposed to Kraven the Hunter. We've been exposed to a lot of Venom material, right? Spider-Man 3, Venom with Tom Hardy, the games now. A lot of the animated shows, like Spectacular Spider-Man I'd say that's the one I grew up on the most. I haven't really watched the 90s one, sorry. But yeah, there's been a lot of Venom content. I would go as far as saying they've kind of oversaturated us with Venom. And there's a lot more that goes into why I was sort of mixed with this game. So we're led to believe that Peter Parker, who is stronger than a lot of the Avengers, right? Captain America, Winter Soldier, like, this is the same guy that made Winter Soldier think twice. So you'd think that he'd be able to take on Kraven the Hunter. If you haven't really, like myself, if you haven't really read or seen any of the other Kraven the Hunter material, right? No, Kraven puts Spidey in his place. And that was thoroughly investing. I did not know how strong Kraven was. I did not really know much about like what makes him as strong as he is. I know the game alludes to it at some point when Peter goes to investigate Kraven's hideout, and that was interesting to me. I was thoroughly interested into what motivates this guy, also what makes him so much stronger than freaking Spider-Man. And then you have Kraven looking for the ultimate rival, I guess, which he discovers is Venom. He goes up against Venom. By the way, you get to play as Venom. I did love that. That was great. That was really good. But nevertheless, Kraven goes up against Venom, and Kraven loses because he's found his match. He's found someone who's stronger than him. But then you keep playing the game, and you realize that the game's main villain is obviously Venom. That's what they were leading to. And that's kind of what they did with the first Spider-Man game, where they had the advertised villain, but then they had a secret villain, right? Which was Doc Ock. Now, had they done that with this one, I might have been a bit more intrigued if they kept Venom a secret, but they didn't. Anyway, point is that if Spider-Man had gone up against Kraven the Hunter from beginning to end, with the possibility of Venom coming in for the next game, that would have been something that I would have been far more invested in, just because I've seen so much Venom, not much Kraven. I would have loved to see more Kraven. And I would have loved to have a round 2 between Spidey and Kraven. Like, that would have been so much more investing. Just my personal thoughts, you don't have to agree with me, but that's just why I was a little disappointed with the story for this game as opposed to the first game. Anyway, that is my thoughts on Marvel's Spider-Man 2 on PS5. Again, I do apologize with how late it took to get this video up. I was just juggling a lot of thoughts about the game, wasn't fully impressed with it. I guess because my anticipation for it was way too high. My expectation for what I wanted it to be was way too high. But there has also been a lot of other stuff going on in my life that's affected my output of content on my channel. One of them being, I've been tossing up between whether I should keep making videos like this, or if I should go to shorts and make, 30 to 60 second YouTube shorts or TikToks, because it's sad to admit, but it just seems like people's attention spans are just getting smaller and smaller, and I'm in that category too. I hardly watch a 10-minute long video anymore. I'm just scrolling through TikTok or YouTube shorts. I'm in the same category. So realizing that, I've had to make a decision whether or not I should keep doing content like this on a regular basis and commit to it, or commit to YouTube shorts and just focus on that. I know most people would think, well, why can't you do both? But the reality is I'm busier than what I was before. I have a much busier life now than what I was when I first started this channel. So my question to you guys would be, if you wanted to leave a comment, what do you prefer? To the subscribers of my channel, do you prefer these long form videos, or do you prefer the shorts that I tend to upload here and there? So yeah, what do you prefer? Oh shit! What the fuck? Oh. One other new aspect that I fuck. Alright, so there's so the gameplay for this was really fun. Ah, fuck, I'm just regurgitating shit.